Last ayah in Surah Hud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلِلَّهِ غَيْبُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To Allah belong the ghaib, the unseen, whatever happens in the heavens and on earth. وَإِلَيْهِ يُرْجَعُ الْأَمْرُ كُلُّهُ. All affairs are decreed by Him. All affairs are decreed by Him. What should we do, Ya Allah? فَاعْبُدْهُ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَيْهِ. Worship Him, obey Him, and have complete trust in Him. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. And don't ever think that Allah is not aware of all that you do. An ayah that shows pure tawheed. Pure tawheed. Allah is the only one who knows the unseen. A story only 100 years ago with Sayyid al-Mujahideen, Omar Al-Mukhtar. His armies got some fear in them when they heard that the Italians are getting new warplanes. So they came and expressed their fear to Omar. So he said, I want to ask you a question. These airplanes, they fly under the arsh or above the arsh? These planes, do they fly under the throne of Allah or above the throne of Allah? They said, of course, they fly under the throne of Allah. He said, don't worry, because the one above the throne is with us. Pure tawheed. My brothers and sisters, tawheed is not just uttering La ilaha illallah. Those examples are a great illustration of how to live tawheed. Because tawheed is living, saying La ilaha illallah and living by La ilaha illallah. That is the pure tawheed. A man came to a Bedouin, I tell this story all the time, and he told him, listen to the tawheed. He told him, and he was like in a fearing state. He said, did you hear? I said, what happened? He said, the loaf of bread is $10. In our time, it was 1 dinar. He's telling, the loaf of bread is 1 dinar? Yani this is unbelievable. He said, Wallahi, I don't care. Even if the grain of wheat became 1 dinar. He said, how come? He said, because Allah ordered me to worship Him and promised me to provide for me. I am doing my job and He is keeping His promise. Pure tawheed. A woman, a sister, her husband died and left her 5-6 kids. Look how we should start teaching tawheed to our children from a young age. So one of the sons came, he said, Mama, now Baba's gone. How are we going to survive? You do not work. So the mother said, your father and myself are tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using us to provide for you. And Allah is the Razzaq Himself. So don't worry. Now this is the ibadah. فَعْبُدْهُ. This is how we do the ibadah. All this example by knowing that He is the only mudabbir. وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَيْهِ. So the second job, after فَعْبُدْهُ, obey Him, have complete trust in Him. Complete trust in Him. How's your tawakkul, my brother? How's your tawakkul, my sister? How's your tawakkul? Now, if I ask you, my tawakkul, no one can touch it. But when you are hit by a calamity, when you get a message as you're leaving the masjid, you have been laid off, you have been fired. That second, check your reaction. if you start panicking and crying, and what should I do? Something's wrong with your tawakkul. I'm not saying we all get upset, but if you start panicking, I am gone, I'm done, that's a problem. Something is wrong with the tawakkul. Why? Rasulullah ﷺ taught us after every salat fard to say, Allahumma la mani'a lima a'tayt wa la mu'tiya lima mana'at. Ya Allah, there's no one can stop what you give, and no one can give what you stopped. Do you mean it, or are you just saying words? That job is not for me. Khalas, alhamdulillah, let me start looking. My brothers and sisters, anytime, I mentioned this before, anytime we are going through any kind of hardship, 3 steps. Number 1, identify the problem. What is your problem? Sickness, financial problem, marital problem, whatever the problem is, identify the problem, number 1. Number 2, which is the hardest. Ya Rabb, I trust you to solve this problem. But this statement has to come from here with 100% certainty, yaqeen, that I know that He can cover my debt, He can guide my child, He can solve my problems at home, He can get me the best job, He can cure me. It has to come from here. And then the third, take by the means. Do not leave a door without you knocking. All these 3 together, put them together, any problem will disappear. Real tawakkul. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told us, if you have real haqq tawakkul, real tawakkul on Allah Azza wa Jal, He will provide for you just like He provides for the bird. It leaves its nest in the morning with an empty stomach and comes back full. Real tawakkul. And second, leaves its nest. It did something. It did something. Musa alayhi salam, running away with Bani Israel, Fir'aun behind him, the ocean in front of him. Khalas, doors are closed. Bani Israel is saying, Inna lamudrakun. Khalas, we are done. He's gonna catch up with us. And when we were obeying him, he was slaughtering our babies. How about when we are running from Fir'aun? We are done. What did the mutawakkil do? What did Musa alayhi salam, the mutawakkil, say? Kalla inna ma'iya rabbi sayahdeen. Allah is with me. He will guide me. That's it. Allah could have opened the ocean immediately. Ya Musa, hit the ocean with your staff, with your stick. Do something. Do something. If me and you go to the ocean now and we keep hitting the ocean with a stick till the day of judgment, it's not gonna split. It's not about the stick. It's about obeying Allah and taking by the means. I am sick. I don't say Allah is the Shafi and I go to sleep. Allah is the Shafi and I go get checked, doctors, medicine, everything. I'm looking for a job. I don't say Allah is the Razzaq and I go to sleep. No, Allah is the Razzaq. I look for a job. I ask, I apply, I find something online to sell. I do something. Maryam Alaiha Salam, ask any sister, what is the weakest state you can be ever in? It is when she is delivering a baby. We brothers, we will never know what does that mean. Ask your mother, ask your wife. It is the toughest state ever. And Maryam Alaiha Salam is delivering Isa Alaihi Salam. And she got hungry. Allah could have made her full with one order. He could have made the dates fall with one order. He told her, Huzzi, shake the tree. Have you ever tried to shake a palm tree? When we were in Umrah, I got 25 people, men, and I told them, let's attempt to shake the tree. All their muscles pushing the tree. Our arms are hurting, and the tree, of course, did not move a fraction of an inch. do something, do your part, and then have tawakkul on Allah Azza wa Jal. How do I strengthen my tawakkul? فَاعْبُدْهُ وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَيْهِ. How do I strengthen my tawakkul? I noticed from these stories you mentioned that I'm weak. The more you know the one you are putting your trust in, the stronger is your tawakkul. I'm going to Hajj and I left my son with my neighbor. The more I know the neighbor, the more confident I am that nothing will happen to my son. The more we know Allah Azza wa Jal, the more at ease our life will become. My brothers and sisters, Ramadan is around the corner. Tell yourself that in this Ramadan, I am going to train myself to be a abd and a mutawakkil. Wallahi, can you imagine that we understand every ayah in the Quran like we understood this ayah today? Can you imagine how my life will be completely at ease? Just one ayah we took today, and we explained it quickly. So this Ramadan, the month of the Quran, I am going to strengthen my relationship with the Quran. Wallahi, if you finished Ramadan with understanding one surah and living by it, you have done an amazing job. One reading of the Quran to get the hasanat, every letter 10 hasana. And another, just one surah, Surah Al-Naba, Surah Al-Mulk, any surah that you want. Read its tafsir and try to understand it slowly. Every Ramadan we'd leave with one surah, Allahu Akbar.